You're watching YLN TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Alfred with YLN.TV. News has been breaking kind of fast here lately, but the lamestream just doesn't seem to want to get it to you. Let me explain. As it turns out, there has been a lot of movement across the nation with military vehicles, and it's all very clandestine. They are keeping everything secret for one reason or another. I can't answer as to why that is, but I can say that it is. The latest round had to do with a piece of information that came across my desk on Monday afternoon, and it had to do with a bunch of military vehicles being stationed at a hospital 20 miles south of Chicago in a place called Oak Forest, Illinois. Looked a little out of place, and actually the video had some writing on it that indicated the person who had made that would like for somebody to find out. Well, we did. What we found out was that, in fact, those military vehicles were parked there. Stories were, well, the kind of stories you'd think you'd get from the military. The first call to the hospital resulted in being transferred over to a security person, didn't identify himself, whom I asked whether or not there were military vehicles parked there. And his response was, "I'm not at liberty to say." Okay, that says a lot. Well, not being one to expect anything to come out of conversations with the government up there right now, I decided to take another tack, and I started calling local businesses. And when I say local, I mean real local, like across the street. What I found, that was kind of disturbing. The people in the businesses directly across the street that I could reach had similar responses to the officer. Not at liberty to say. Okay. A couple of those indicated that, in fact, the people around there had been approached by government officials, military. I don't know who is doing what to whom over there right now, but I can tell you that they were approached and they were told not to say anything, and so far they hadn't. Well, that was all fine and well, but Monday evening the pursuit continued, and unfortunately for them, we had boots on the ground up there in that vicinity within a couple of minutes, and a couple of phone calls away, and confirmation was then given by our contact up there, who mentioned also not only were they parked at this hospital, but that there was a bus, an unmarked bus, that had recently that day or that evening been seen leaving the hospital. Now, that bus was nondescript with heavily tinted windows. Now, you all know what's going on south of the border, or at the border. And Barry Soetoro has basically waged war. He's allowing an invasion to occur right now at our southern border. Now, you wonder, who in the government can you trust to take care of this? Well, you can't. You absolutely can't. At this point, I don't even trust Perry from Texas. Yeah, he sent 1,000. Sent 1,000 down there. I have no earthly idea what that was all about, but 1,000 is a drop in the bucket. He had 20 he could put there. He could have shut it down had he wanted to. He didn't want to. It gets worse. There has been indications and reports over the past month and a half now, exactly a month and a half, that there has been vehicle movement across the country deployment of UN vehicles on our soil. Folks, do you know what that means? Those are foreign troops on our soil. That is an act of war. Now, of course, they're saying that that's for humanitarian purposes only. Yeah, right. They have no business being on. They are not welcome on, yet here they are. They were invited by somebody. I guarantee it wasn't you, and I guarantee it wasn't me. So, those people that you have entrusted in D.C. with the power to do what they are doing, especially Barry, and I mean that. Look, you were warned. You were warned from the beginning what you were getting. It was known early on that this man is a Muslim. And any kind of thinking person understands that there is a percentage of that group of peaceful people that are jihadists that want serious harm to come to you and me. That percentage is, quite a bit. It's somewhere between 15 and 25%, if I can quote Bridget Gabriel. That's hundreds of millions. And what's worse, we do know that they have no compunction about lying to the infidels. Now, for you who have been maybe paying attention, you may have noticed the sheer numbers that are now in the White House having been appointed by Mr. Sotoro or Obama or whatever the heck his name is. That's right. They are there on the inside. And we're not talking just your average run-of-the-mill Muslim. We're talking about people from the Muslim Brotherhood. He's bringing in his ruthless henchmen, in case you hadn't been paying attention. And he's getting cover for what he's doing by inviting the UN in here. How convenient. We have a military. We have everything we need to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. But he can't call them up. He can't. So folks, we got a problem here. It was assumed that we were under invasion when he opened the borders up the way he has and removed the border guards to positions 45 miles inland in some cases, probably most cases at this point. They are sounding the alarm and have been sounding the alarm, but no one's been listening, except for a few stout individuals who have been going down there. They are the militia. They are there. They are your first line of defense right now because, unfortunately, nobody else paid attention. They are in need of money, and they are in need of help, and by golly, you best get in touch with them or show up down there. It is time. Mobilization is at hand. Machine gun fire from across the border to cover for people crossing. Machine gun fire. That's an aggressive act of war. I don't know what else to say to you, but that's what's happening right now as we speak. And there's another little jewel that needs to be expressed here. That has to do with the residents that were dropped off at the Oak Forest Hospital. Now, why do you think this government entity would hold back in telling you the truth? My goodness, they're only children, right? Right, yeah. Last report I heard was, what was it? It was 10% are children. The rest are teenagers. gang members, whatever. And the numbers that have been coming across are far greater than what your government has been telling you. The border agents know this. The only one that doesn't know this is you, because you're paying attention to the lamestream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. They are not giving you the truth. And this truth is actionable, my friends. Actionable. It was thought that the bringing in of these children, so to speak, had to be a ruse for something. This man does not do anything out of the goodness of his heart. He has a plan. He's already told you he's going to fundamentally change. Well, he's put that idea on steroids now, hasn't he? Yeah, he's fundamentally changing it, all right. Allowing for the invasion, and we allow that. We allow for Benghazi, no problem. We allow for the IRS investigations to go south, no problem. He can do whatever he wants. He is playing king, and he continues to act as such, and you let him. You don't even know who he is. But getting back to the story at hand, these kids are being put all over the country. Right now, everywhere. It would be in your best interest, when I'm done with this show, to get in touch with your local officials. They are the first line of defense. And you make sure that they understand your concerns, because the federal people are going to find whoever they have in place that will keep their mouths shut, and they will spirit these people in here whether you like it or not. The last thing I got concerning my location, Georgia, was that, let's see, oh yeah, Palmetto was a place for that. I guess they've rested on the idea that they're going to have to buy off all the churches and put them in there. And that's a dual win situation for them. And here's why. If speculation proves accurate, diseases that are carried with these children, these young adults, have serious implications and could conceivably spread. Personally, I look at this as a potential biological weapon that he's unleashing. Why not? He's also he's been in a state of treasonous action. I can't tell you exactly when he assumed that, probably the day he assumed office, because he did so fraudulently. So, there you have it. The potential, that's all I'll say, the potential for this turning into a biological nightmare exists right now. The only thing that stands between that occurrence and you being the victim is your action. And your action needs to occur now. You need to get on the phone with mayors, with everybody you can in the city, with your councilmen, with your commissioners, everybody at the local level, because you know and I know that the corporations we call the state and the corporations we call the federal government have absolutely no business talking to you, because they don't give a flip. Their friends are the UN. Because they know they can't command forces here. And all efforts to gradually bring this country into a state of complete communism, socialism, call it what you will, they've been real close to being completed. But I guess someone up there is impatient. every one of your elected that is involved with the regional commissions, and there are 11 of them across the country, they need to be held responsible for what they're doing. They're in a state of sedition because they are supporting a rival form of government. And they're representing you. Article 1, Section 10 applies here, not to mention the fact that they're in violation of their oath of office. Give them a couple of days, point out why Agenda 21 is not a good thing, point out why ICLEI was not a good thing, point out why United Nations control of our country is not a good thing, but point it out and make sure they understand, because right now you're seeing this unfold right before your eyes. The UN is being deployed on the southern border. Not only are we being invaded by those coming up through the border, they're being aided and abetted by this humanitarian effort on the part of the UN. No, sir. No, sir. This country's always been a giving country, and we give till it hurts. It hurts. What's being laid bare for you, you'd best pay attention to. So, to recap, not one iota of truth is coming from the government. They're hiding all efforts to spirit these children away to anything other than sites that have miraculously appeared on numbersusa.com, which, by the way, I did a little way back on Numbers USA, and the sites that they had put up as potential and sites that were confirmed haven't changed since probably July 5th. It looked pretty consistent right up until Monday, okay? And I'm not sure, I didn't look at it on Tuesday, but I did look at it Wednesday morning, and lo and behold, when I looked at it on Wednesday morning, it had exploded with activity. Google, Numbers USA, I don't know how complicit they are. I'm sure they're going to go for plausible deniability, but those numbers did explode. And curiously, Wednesday morning, Oak Forest Hospital showed up as a potential site. They have since started bugging out. I don't know if the bug out is complete at this point, but after they were exposed Monday night, the story came back that those vehicles were now on the move. Does that sound like a normal type of operation? It doesn't to me. Sounds like they have one heck of a lot to hide. And it sounds like they're relying on those that are loyal. And they do have some that are loyal. Those that do believe in this global governance, that in no way can be compliant with our rule of law. It doesn't work. What it does is gets rid of this government and institutes serfdom. That's right. The only problem is it's not happening as fast as they had anticipated. The plan was for this to be absolutely, totally complete, all the roads and everything by 2050. But think about this, folks. If you're going to consolidate people into one area, which is the plan, 11 megacities with interconnecting high-speed rail. Ooh, sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? It's not. It's not. Those areas that produce food right now, they're going to be untouchable. You won't be able to produce food. They're doing that already. They call them wetlands. They're using anything that's within their power. An example was cited the other day, and it had to do with the snapper fishing, of all things, up and down the east coast of Florida. Snapper fishing. Apparently, the captains who do the commercial, not the commercial, but the sport fishing for them, know that they are in abundance. And yet, the Fisheries Commission has decided that they're in danger. So they closed the season for better than half the year, open it up for a little while, and reduce the catches to the point where it's kind of meaningless to even go fishing. It doesn't pay to get in the doggone boat and go out. That's control, folks. Every step of the way you're being controlled and you're letting it happen. Well, here's the result. UN troops, they are headed towards or are already on the border. And now the only people that stand between us and an armed invasion are our militia and Border Patrol that is still faithful to American citizens, American people. Yeah, this is scary. But the mobilization has to occur. I want to leave you with one last thought. There are many schools of thought concerning why the military has not stood up and stood tall. And one thing has come across my desk that would be important for you to understand. Whether you know it or not, there have been groups out there that have been trying to restore the de jure governments of the states and then redo the Confederation, because that doesn't exist right now. The military knows that. They have no civilian control. So, let me suggest to you that those of you who backed out of RUSA but filed your paperwork, those of you who backed out of nation states but filed your paperwork, get in touch with the Union States Assembly. We need to band together to finish off the 13 colonies. The territories, most of them are already done. We can utilize most of the paperwork that was there. And then we can put together the group that needs to be in place so that the military has civilian control. That's the only shot we have right now. This is coming at you fast and furious. So, do what you must. But things are going to be happening at an ever-increasing clip. So for that, I think that should cover about everything I had to say. I'm Carl Alfred. You're watching YLN TV, and I will be posting updates to this as they become available. Thank you very much.
You're watching YLN TV.